morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation Special Message. As usual, we welcome you back. As usual, we try to extend the thread of knowledge of man, not just about what is about our body and our physicality, but our connection to other dimensions and what we call the structures. One of the biggest problems for present science and technology is that we have got used to the energy resources of this planet. And in a recent past, in the history of man, we have extended our knowledge into using a little bit from what is not connected physically to this planet, but a little bit maybe what comes from outside. What we talk about, we, for thousands of years as a human race, relied on the wood and something else, and then coal, and then something else, and then became man of oil and gas, and became the dominating force for the man in how he will progress and how he'll develop technologically or socially and the rest of it. And a little bit in the very recent past, we realized, oh, we can use the what is not attached to Earth, and we make a system. We call it a windmill, or what I call bird catcher. And so we became windmill guys. We're putting a lot of them up everywhere. Some work, some they don't, and we get something out of what is not attached physically to Earth, but it floats around. Then, again, for the recent past, we start learning about solar cells. We call them the energy supplies, and a lot of us putting these mirrors everywhere. And we are very happy with what we get. We call it a free energy and the rest of it. But what happens when we go outside the Earth atmosphere? There is no oil. There's no wood. Unfortunately, solar winds are not on the way here to blow you up and then blow fans for you and get your bird catchers to do the job. And definitely in the depth of the universe, solar panels do not work, especially when you are between two solar systems and in the universe and the galaxy. So man has to come up with a new understanding of using universal energies, using systems which utilizes, which brings in energies of the universe. Some places we might have so what we call the cosmic fields floating in a rush somewhere, but not much use to you if you don't have a system. And in some of the places, we have to come up with systems, God knows how, in the dark place of universe, to come up with some answers to be able to support life. Or we take a new, what we call, not very new, recent past, and we put nuclear reactors in our, what we call satellites and everything else, and like submarines, that we have an extension of life, maybe 30, 40 years, 50 years in space, tingling, dangling a few currents for our system and hoping that the system stays operational. So for man to become man of universe, for man to become passengers of the universe in both physical dimension and the soul of the man, man has to look into a new resources, a new ways which he never managed to do so, in a way that as long as we stay attached and connected to resources of this planet, man cannot take long-term extensions into the what we call universe, even though we here are cosmologist tells us it takes 10,000 light years to get to another place. So, with the present knowledge of the field of the man, the universe and the space is a distant dream. Unless we come up with new field, new method of energy, new method of creating energy, new method of using new energy in a way that allows man to become passenger of universe. What does this mean? And where does it bring man? Anything we do which is not using the physical materials or the sun ray and the nuclear, according to the ignorance of our present scientists, is not valid. So, as President Xi of China said, His Excellency, that we are imprisoned, we are literally taken hostage by the scientists because of the lack of understanding, because of the limitation, because of the arrogance of their position. And those who come with new concepts, new ideas, new energy systems, systems which work, all be what we call rejected, because it does not fit into the matter state of the life of the man. In a way, the scientists who bring the new technologies to make man to be able to live in a space for long-term conditions, which the laws are against the matter states, become all criminals, like empty Keshe, like many other scientists. Because we bring in a new technology, in a way breakthrough technology. And so to this effect, we are alienated because our present scientists are thieves, bunch of bandits and criminals who, to keep position and to keep their prestige name, make the others criminal. So what is the new? What we have to look into, and in a way to bypass the present dogma of people who take us as hostage. The limitation of man getting out of this village of earth now has been kept hostage by a bunch of criminals called scientists. Or fake scientists, like we've seen Einstein, we've seen Stephen Hawking, and we've seen the others. And nationally promoted for their position of the nation and the rest of it. Now we see this more in China. Chinese government, Chinese scientists are kept hostage by their what they call academicians. Bunch of bandits, thieves, in the name of a nation. We have the same in Iran, we have the same in England, we have the same in United States and the rest of it. So, what can be done? What and how and what do we have to look for? That in the passage of time, the introduction of new technologies, new energy resources, new way of thinking about the present, what's available to us, has become a challenge for many scientists. And as usual, the trick, the scientists show, like the religious people, when they talk about Mehdi, he'll never come, because if he comes, I'm not the religious, religions don't exist and I have no job. And we see the same thing with the scientists. If they accept the new technology, then their title's worth nothing. And ignorance, and as the others rely on their decision, prevails. We had this in China Gas Corporation last year. We showed the production of the gas from a simple system at the highest laboratories of the Chinese government gas corporation in Beijing. And the academician, seeing that he's expert, his job is in the bin, he says, I don't understand. What I don't understand does not exist. But the beauty of what is created is not a gas. This is the short-sightedness of the man. But as a gas, we can show the confirmation of the new technology. And in every other form, we can show the next entrance, next dimension in the world of science and technology, where we rely on the sources, on the energies, which is common across the universe, and not only on this planet. In the teaching of last week, I explained, and the week before, in more details, I explained the man has two life, two part of life, one connected to the universe and one connected to the earth. Matter state, conditions of the creation of gravitational field of the energies in interaction with the atmospheric condition of the earth creates what we call the matter state condition GANs of it, which is the calcium and everything else, and as itself is made of the parts of the other side of the universal energy connecting together, like hydrogen and a carbon brings in the dimension of the universe, universal energies, universal condition. So by now you as knowledge seekers should have understood, if on this planet calcium, iron, potassium, and everything else you call it, in combination of interaction with universal energies, leads to creation of life, leads to creation of conditions, which creates the cell of the body of the man. Now, if we use the whole thing of the universe, we should achieve the same. The fact is that hydrogen, that carbon side of the amino acid, is not just there to make the amino acid, to create manifestation of life on this planet as a joint collaboration of the earth and the universal energies, which you call amino acid. If we learn how to burn, how to create energy, and in more depth as we look, everything which we create energy out of is connected into the universal energy, which we never considered. In the body of the man, we burn sugar, carbon and hydrogen, which means we receive our lives from the essence of the source of the universe. We were created out of the interaction of the first sugar, fundamental structure of sugar, which is CH3. You see again, hydrogen and carbon. You burn gases, you burn oil, you burn wood, you use the wind, you use the solar system, which is the field energy of the hydrogen. All comes from universal energies. Matter state condition of gas cannot, in a way, bring in energy resources unless it breaks down to the fundamental interaction of the fields as is in the universe. So, in a new understanding of the science and technology, now that you understood about the splitting energies in the structure of the amino acid of man, which is half universal, half planetary, then you understand in the universe you still have that hydrogen and you still have that carbon and you still have the structure of the universal shape, what we call our universe, through carbon-60. We create the condition of containment by the dimension of field, the strength of the energies of the universe. It's not somebody has put a cap on it. The cap is on it because of his own strength. This is how the dimensions of the fields of the earth is dictated. This is how the dimensions of the field of the solar system dictated, and the rest. But there is one thing fundamental. that man has not even understood in detail. What is one of the joys of the man on this planet? When you walk in a sunny, rainy day, when the interaction of the fields of the universe with the planet Earth's magnetic fields creates what you call a rainbow. The explanation of the rainbow by the dimension of the physicality of the man scientist is so ridiculous that they do not even understand what rainbow means. You take the structure in a gravitational magnetic field of the Earth into another planetary condition, into another dimension of the universe, your rainbow, it won't be the colors you see. The rainbow of our planet is the color of the interaction of the fields of the universal energy, rays of the sun, and energies of the sun, like that solar cell with the fields, magnetic fields of the Earth. Why does it always have the same shape? Because of the horizon dimension. And now you understand. If you haven't understood that, go back and look at the ring of the Saturn. There is no difference between the ring of the Saturns and the rainbow on the planet Earth. Read a book about the creation of the ring of the Saturn, which I've written years ago. Then you understand how much our scientists are misguided. If you analyze the shape, the dimension, the curvature, the expansion of the light and the horizon with the rainbow, is dimension and direction of the thickness of the colors in it, you will get a very good idea of what's underneath, beneath the rainbow, within the structure of the planetary Earth. It opens the line of the light. It just explains more, but man does not understand. In the world of chemistry, we say each color of the flame represents a material. If it burns blue, let's say it's hydrogen. If it burns green, is oxygen, hydrogen. If it burns another color, is that material. This is part of the work in the dimension of the, what we call pharmaceutical side of the knowledge of the man. So the same applies to the rainbow. If world of science understand this and can understand how the energies, how the fields of the universe connect to the dimension of the physicality of the man and his life and his dimension of the what we call fields of the creation, and then we understand the totality of life on this planet. And then we will understand the dimension of the work. Then we understand the dimension of the what we call how life has changed, how life will change, and how new dimensions will come into operation of the work of the man. In fact, mankind will be devastated to understand how everything around him has changed and how the knowledge of the universe can be added to the knowledge of the man to bring in a new dimension of knowledge. How in space, in a deeper space, in combination of the fields of the universe, in interaction with the fields of the any planetary system, any condition, not necessarily planetary, but field interaction, will create its own energy, its own what we call rainbow, its own conversion of energy, its own manifestation. If you understand this, if you comprehend the depth of this, the what we call knowledge, then you understand how come you have different skin colors, How come you have different structures, and how come every organ in the body of the man has different colors and structure and work? Then, as I always say, there is no difference between micro and macro. And this brings us in a much more closer way to understand the work of the universe, to understand how to bring changes in the world of the science, the energy of the man's use, and how man can use these lines of energies, these fields of the universe, to create motion, to create energy, to create life. And how much we can extend this knowledge to a point that can bring change in the life of humanity on this planet. I'm a nuclear physicist, and I've been more or less for 50 years. And to achieve this new understanding in the structure of the knowledge of the man, we have developed a technology very much like a nuclear reactor. But this nuclear reactor of the universal dimension does not release as neutron to create energy. It creates condition of the release of the energies in the state and in a condition of the universal energies. For the first time, you understand what this means. Once you understand about the transmutation and transportation and everything else, the way the new knowledge has to sit. Mankind nuclear reactors, even the ones in satellites, has a time span because it uses dimension of the matter state, energy release. The new reactor, which we have developed and undergoing tests, is another nuclear reactor which produces energy in the dimension of the universe. Which means man become independent of the resources of this planet. Man now uses the same technology as used by what you call the aliens, the man of the universe. This is one step beyond the system which we developed in Iran and for lift and motion. This is more or less the ultimate energy system which man has been waiting for to become independent, what you call the free energy structure. This technology will bring change to humanity, where through this new technology, not only you can transmute, you can use energies of it to live at the point, place, and position, does not where you land, does not matter how you manifest yourself. The development of the new universal energy systems, which is a breakthrough in the world of science, will be disclosed in a very near future, and it will be shown to a number of nations. This system is not to be developed. This system is already developed. This will bring and break through all the dogmas we have with what we call clueless scientists, call themselves academicians and professors and the rest, which have taken humanity to hostage. I have asked the Iranian government for past 6 weeks to allow this technology to be released. And With the wisdom of Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran, we are waiting for an answer by 12 o'clock tonight. Thereon will be released to the governments, first by the British government in the next 24 hours, and then the other governments step by step, the way we release the key. It's the responsibility of the Iranian government, Ayatollah Khamenei, by tonight, 12 o'clock, to answer in how the technology based and developed in Iran by Iranians will be in public, bringing an end to nuclear warfare, an end to energy resources which has kept humanity to ransom. This new reactor, this new technology will bring a change beyond imagination. No more need for burning fuel, no more need for electricity production by all the whatever has been. This new structure is in operation today. It creates a combination of fields which connects man to universal energies, which by the interaction of creates fields motion and creates fields energy. This is the way the center of this planet, Earth, works. Is the way the universe works. Is the way the structure of the whole pattern of life in the universe and universe is connected to. Go back to the teaching. Go back to what we said. We define energy as magnetic field in motion. And this does not obey the Newton law. This obeys the Creator's law. This obeys the way the fields interact. And then if you understand this, there is no so many light years as the light will be the what we call maturity of the man to be enlightened by the knowledge of the creation. We can take this knowledge, we can take this technology to a point of taking man to ransom, as has been done by the oils and the rest, or bring man to the point and to the dimensions of working with the universal energies. He has taken 40 years of research as a nuclear physicist to change the production of the energy as heat as a nuclear reactor to a system which creates the universal fields. And in an appropriate way to universal energy. And then it's for the man to decide if he uses this energy for burning, for heating, for food, for whatever he likes, or he uses energy to transmute across the universe in the dimension of the physicality and in the dimension of what we call, as you call it, transmutation. The new technology goes on the back of what we've been teaching for the past few weeks. Creating fields, creating energies in a dimension and in the structure that can take the man to his creator. Depends how you understand to use the new technology. And need be, in next few weeks, we release the technology on what we call, as you are aware of it, a blueprint day. And will change the course of humanity. Creating energies at the level and through the process that allows man to be able to be free on this planet and in the universe will become a new challenge for the world of science and technology, and breaks all the taboos and restrictions which has been put on man by fields, by scientists, by materials, and by limitation and control. What this means, as we have shown to the Chinese scientists, the military, and the space people, we produce all materials the man needs, time, place, and position. Which means the restriction that the Chinese have put on Americans on what we call rare earth materials as of today is obsolete. Americans can have access to as much material that nothing is really rare. The limitation of British Petroleum on fuel, on gas, trying to get access to oils, bringing wars and everything else, and the mess we've seen with oil industry comes to an end as the scientists and knowledge seekers like you release this technology worldwide and show its use of it. It costs less than $20 to make a house self-sufficient. And the way I taught you how to make ganses and the magraphs, I can teach you how to make yourself independent of the energies and resources of this planet. In doing so, we create another chaos. So the governments have to be involved. Governments have to be part of this knowledge release. We are not looking for financial rewards as we never did before. We wanted it, we came to you. But it brings out change. You made the ganses. You brought the corona into obey. Many of you saved your lives. Many of you use ganses for pains and everything else. Now we show you how you create energy of the universe, and you can travel by using it in the matter state, in the dimension of matter state of man, or to use the same to be on the other half of your what we call amino acid to become passengers of the universe. I put this proposition to Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran for past 6 weeks, and it's too hard for them to decide to keep the religion or to bring the science of creator. To take revenge on another nation while hiding another technology. And today is the deadline for Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran, by 12 o'clock tonight. The same as of tomorrow, British government, the same Russian government, the American, the Chinese, the Japanese will be given the technology, and they have time to understand, to bring it in order, and then the Keshe Foundation, as you've seen, as usual, we release this technology to all of you. A 5-year-old child in a kitchen, as we saw in China years ago, making ganses, will be able to develop this technology. And then we show you how to use these fields to transmute, to receive energy, and everything else. But you have to understand the structure of the first reactors, which I developed and I showed you. You need to bring the total knowledge of the Keshe Foundation together to be able to become part of that. The beauty with this is very simple. As you create the dimension of the fields of the universe, your universe, central points of it, which is your soul, will connect to it. You feed from it and you feed your physicality. You feed from it and you decide the dimension of transmutation, or you feed from it and you do the transportation. Now you understand the teaching I gave you about magraphs, what magraphs' capability are, and how they have to be used. It's no different in knowledge. Go back to the teachings over years. I always said, when you feed the soul of the man, The soul of the man will feed the physicality in any time, place, and position that it does not need to kill, to destroy. This is the way this planetary system receives energy, through the same way from the mother that can transfer and transport and have motion on this universal part of its life around the sun for billions of years. Earth is continuously, without fail, has been breastfed by the sun through the magnetic field interaction of the fields of the sun to the center of the solar system of itself, which is the center of the earth of the man. And we have seen him in strive. He's created life, supplies and energy, and feed us for billions of years. How does this come? Collaboration between the mother and the child in the central fields of the universe, and understanding the process. Is not, if you understood the gravitational magnetic field position of the earth and the sun. The gravitational magnetic field interaction is like umbilical cord which the mother feeds his child through. While the child is still in the womb of the mother, can swallow some of its, what we call, liquid of the womb. Man in a physical life sees an umbilical cord between the mother and the child, line of feeding. In the world of cosmology, astronomy, we call this gravitational magnetic field positioning. Whatever, what are these fields which coming from the sun to the earth? What do? They bring food, they bring energy, which feeds the center, which seeds in the interaction the life on the surface. And at the same time, what does the umbilical cord do? Releases what it doesn't need back to the mother for it to clean up, to feed back. Now you have to understand the operational gravitational magnetic positioning, the interaction of the fields of two objects, receiving and giving, the umbilical cord between two entities. Then, in a way, if you understand this, in the future, the scientists move that mother surrogacy of life, which means you connect to, instead of the sun, to another star by creating the magnetic field structure the way we did in the Iranian first space reactor. We have the capability to change the magnetic gravitational field to find a new position in respect to Earth, lift and motion. You extend the understanding. Now you change the surrogacy, you change the gravitational magnetic field inside your system with a new energy system, with the new materials, to another sun. Then you get on the track. Instantaneous transmutation. You change the gravitational magnetic field in the uranium reactor, and you put 0.5 meter, 2 meter up. You move forward backwards. With the new universal energy, you change the energies inside by the universal field strength. Then you become surrogated to any place, point, and position, and instantaneous transmutation. Now you understand the purpose of the teaching of past few weeks and months. Keshe Foundation, in releasing the new structure of the fields of the universe and having a system that continuously can produce it, has opened the hand of the man and from the shackles of this planet. It's your choice to stay or to leave, to transfer or transmute, to feed your soul from the source, that then the energy, the sun of itself, with its cells, it feeds its cells, that man shall not kill. Now you understand. While we've been busy, while you've been coming into these tests with us every Friday, what you have created, confirmation of the technology. In this process, in this understanding, we release further technologies, new technologies unknown to man in the coming time and weeks. Once we start the first leg of negotiation with the British government tomorrow, and then following on with other governments in the coming weeks, then it's the decision of the governments how this new technology will be released to humanity. New energy source, but universal energy source, not man-made condition. And further on, materials will be introduced, technologies will be introduced that it makes man independent of any resources, but learns how to tap into the universal energies anywhere in the universe. In this process, we bring in the change. We bring in the next phase of the Keshe Foundation. 2024 is the year we promise will bring the change. Scientific, economical, and every other aspects. We're trying to negotiate with the Chinese government on this, but they're trying to steal, which is the habit of the Chinese. Sitting with the generals, we realize that the ambition is to get access to knowledge and then use it to destroy the Americans and Western society as they see themselves superior. We speak to the Americans, they are worse than the Chinese. So we decided we speak to the father, or we call the ones who structure everything in the background, which is the British government. And we have already, as a long-term resident of the United Kingdom, know how and we have access to the structure of the government. It would have been easy for Keshe Foundation to take technology to the Russians and create a further mayhem. In the process of ethos of the Keshe Foundation, sharing knowledge, as we've done before, the knowledge will be shared accordingly in a short time. If we reach understanding with the British government in the next few days, we try to release this technology worldwide by the end of this year. That is the decision of the knowledge seekers. The way I did with you in 2012. I gave the key to the government to be able to go and then released it to knowledge seekers afterwards. And then when I released the knowledge of the Maghreb system, first you all got whatever doesn't work in the rest of it because you never understood the principle of what was sitting there. How many times I told you to look at the energy above the Maghreb, not winding up the energy to electricity of what you need. When you learn to use the energy of the system, which is going to be released by feeding the right energy through your soul, you heat up your body. You don't need to burn and destroy the others. You create a further interaction which allows you to be able to live without killing another animal to have his skin on you. Does not matter in the North Pole or deserts of Saudi Arabia. The new understanding, the new technology of the energy, universal energy, which will be released in the coming days worldwide to the governments, will bring that change. Does not need peer reviewing, does not need confirmation. System is on the table. Show me I believe it. We show the government have to do something with it. The space nuclear reactors, what we call man was using, is obsolete. The new space plasma systems developed and will be delivered will bring that change to the government. There will be a chaos economically for many nations. But if we see resistance from the government, I promise you very soon, you'll have a universal energy blueprint day. And then we leave the cats amongst the pigeons of the nations and the government. You have to understand, there was a reason in the past few weeks I headed towards explaining how you are connected to universe and how you're connected to earth. How I explain the division of the amino acid of the man, half universal, half physical. Now you get a system that you decide which half you want to travel, which half you want to exist, and which half you want to use together to create life, sustain life on this planet. Now you understand the next dimension. Now you understand the next condition. Now you understand what is on the table. I insisted for past weeks on a continuous consultation with Ayatollah Khamenei directly in Iran to allow this technology to be brought out. There was a plan to bring this technology on 16th of November in Iran. We wait till tonight. And if Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran decides that we go through Iran for introduction of this technology as a breakthrough technology, we shall do so. And if we do not get an answer from the Iranian government by 12 o'clock tonight, the lines are drawn and the technology will be transferred to British government and through their true knowledge seekers to the rest of the world. It will not be easy for many of you to understand the way we work. But Keshe Foundation has always worked on the basis of creating a knowledge and creating a knowledge base that every man can use. The new space energy systems is so radical, is so simple, that will force man to bring change. If you are those who sits and do not like to kill, you sit near your system and you have to understand how to adjust it with your system. If you understood the teaching of last week, that the system is made to feed you, to your soul, that is connected to your physicality. This was the promise of the prophets of the past, and we fulfill. Thou shalt not kill. And when this technology was understood and completed, no man needs anything else but universal fields to feed itself, its physicality, anywhere in the universe, and thou shalt not kill, to sustain life. The word of killing will be eliminated from the dictionary of the man. And as I said, I worked extensively for past few weeks on the continuous basis with our operation and our people in Iran to change the position of Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran and the Iranian government and one person through the spies they created and the profit of their pocket try to stop the process. Mr. Nazif, you're dead. You're finished in the world of the science and technology and your diplomacy. We explained to you in detail how the position has risen, and we have forced the hand of the Iranian government to make a decision on the release of this technology. It has to be understood. It has to be understood that this new technology will be free for every man. No man does need to kill and be worried about the energy bills which cripples the man to do everything to survive. As I said, why should man work all his life just to take another breath? Why shouldn't man to take breath to have a joy of living? And this technology, this new technology will bring that change. And then you understand the teaching of past 2 or 3 weeks. Understand the universal energy, how your other half is there that it does not need your hand to kill to feed, but it brings energy to feed what it created as amino acid of the man. It has to be understood that the technology is based on the work of the universe and not on the work of the man, and on how we have perceived and what we call the academician has taken the man to ransom to keep man in prison. In a way, I give the key of freedom to Brazil of China, which said that the academicians have taken the Chinese nation to ransom. Now he has a free hand to bring restraint on this bunch of criminals as academician in the Chinese structure. As they have, as I said to them, no scientists to evaluate this technology, let to be academician. The same goes with the world scientists across. The advantages of this new technology is many diseases will be eradicated. As we understand the structure of the energy source, as we understand the structure of how they tap into the fields of the hydrogen, and how they create life in the dimension of the what we call carbon-60. Go back to my teachings past few years. Many times I referred to the structure of your skin and how it's shaped out of what we call carbon-60 structure. Now you understand, even the carbon in your amino acid, which you think is part of you, is the creator of your dimension, your physicality. And that's how you take shape, in how it's changed, how it takes shape, and how it operates. So even you look at your skin, the way carbon-60 has dictated the structure of the higher field order with the lower field, the strength, the dimension of this universe, the dimension of the galaxy, in a condition of the gravitational field of the earth, has created the what we call your physical structure. Without existence of the carbon in your amino acid, you will not have the skin, you will not have the shape of the hand, the figures and the rest. And then if you understood this, you understand how we regenerate the arm and the leg, which is amputated. How we structure the brain the way you have seen in the case of Naomi. How we change conditions. But you have to understand, people have to understand the process. It's not just what we call frisbee and just giving you the knowledge. Understand the creation, understand the tools you make to create that condition. You can chop an arm and within a few hours have the arm back because you know how to do it and how to speed it up. It's not a difficult job. You have seen it, how a layman like Giovanni, with understanding and the guidance of the Keshe Foundation, build the system to build the brain. So the same process, the same understanding, once you understand the universal energies, will be there to enlighten, to elevate your soul. Not to build the brain, but to build the structure of a soul that understands the totality work of the universe. Now you understand. In course a few weeks ago, and why I brought you to this point. My call goes out to Iran. I know Iranian leadership is on the line listening. You have till 12 o'clock tonight. We announce, we process, we go through the Iranian government, or we do it with the British. Either way, I'm home. Lived in England for 30 years. The change has come, and we have put the change on the table. It's for the government, to bring that change to you. And it's for the government to accommodate the change. And then, as has been the tradition of the Keshe Foundation, he might have to wait a little bit, but the final goal has been achieved. And we are on course to deliver the totality of this, feeding the soul of the man. That in the spectrum of the fields of the man, man will feed his physicality. And thy shall not kill, because thy has provided a feed that it can feed your soul and your physicality. Then you understand the change on the horizon and what is and will be delivered in the coming hours to governments and nations. I hope we find the wisdom of peace on both. And I hope a lot of you would understand the process. There is one thing I have to tell you that you might have not known. In the last week, Friday sessions, we tested this technology on the soul of the man. And when we did, the results I saw on the graph was a confirmation that the soul of the man is ready for elevation to become universal passengers, even though we had some few pieces in there which did not need and closes down the operation of the physicality to keep the soul safe. You will understand this in the coming time. But as I said, if another hurdle in the soul knowledge of the man is completed. I built and supported the British government building British nuclear reactors, and now we go through the same process building the space reactors, the space energy reactors. And hopefully I do not have to go back and work in the cow sheds I used to work as a nuclear physicist, but we work in an open space of research labs that allows man to open a new horizon of command. We go for a break and we come back and we'll take the next step in the world of science.